All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back or welcome to today's Ninja Skill Booster. Focus in a distracted world. It's lovely to see you all. I'm having a chuckle because there are some great comments in the chat. Yes, eating my frog early, Nico. I had that little frog in my throat. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands that we are all coming from today. I'm coming from Guringai country here on the northern beaches of Sydney. I want to acknowledge the traditional owners here and all the storytelling, culture building, connection, care that's been happening on these lands for tens of thousands of years and the lands that we're all coming from. Thank you, Abby, for putting that in the chat. You are all very welcome to share in the chat, please, where you're coming from, acknowledging the traditional custodians if you choose, and welcome any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us today. Oh, Lenny's joining us from Perth. The sun's not up for another 16 minutes. Okay. Thanks, Lenny. Today we are focusing on focus. How to focus in a distracted world, managing interruptions, changing priorities, digital noise, and our own brain. There's something going on today that I want to bring to our awareness that a lot of this distraction is actually coming from within our brain. We like to think of everyone else who's distracting us, but there's a little build on this today. So, for those of you that haven't met me before, my name is Matt Cowdroy or Ninja Matt. I'm one of the trainers here at Think Productive Australia. I own Think Productive Australia, and I love this business. We are part of a global business called Think Productive, which was founded in the UK. We're a global workplace learning and culture consultancy. That's quite a lot of words there. A global workplace learning and culture consultancy. We were originally founded by Graham Alcott, who wrote the wonderful book, How to Be a Productivity Ninja. But today we're so much more than just productivity. We are more about culture and learning management skills, leadership skills. And we've got some new branding coming. Look at this new logo on my t-shirt here. The branding will be changing, just to let you know. Over the coming months, you'll see some changes. Why do we do what we do? We're creating a work revolution where everyone loves Mondays. We want to help you love your work. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning, helping our clients love their work through improved productivity, improved focus, which is what we're talking about today. Better leadership skills, better connection, better communication. For today, just some rules of the road for this short session. We're here for half an hour. Please use the chat. I can see the chat's going crazy on the side there. I will have a look at that in a sec. I'm trying to not get distracted. That's today's content. But please use the chat to interact as much as you like. I will check in with that occasionally. That's the best way to connect with me during the session today. So let me just have a quick look at the chat now and see what's going on in there. Lots of hellos, lots of hellos. Thanks, Natalie. Uh, some love hearts. Oh, I always love it when there's some love hearts in the chat. So let's start by thinking, what distracts you? What distracts you from getting your work done? If you could please share this in the chat, I'll read some of these out. There's a camel. Not sure what that means. Camels distract you. Okay. Pointless meetings, staff asking for clarification, my mood, constant emails, interruptions, technology, my cat. Um, as an HR manager, unplanned 5-minute conversations. Yeah, those 5-minute conversations, emails, chats, home life, other things on my mind. That's an interesting point. It is often our own mind that's letting ourselves get distracted as well. Can't focus, brain wanders, Teams chats, the piles of doom, back to back meetings. Okay. My messy desk. Okay. So there's a lot here. So for today's session, I really encourage everyone to take some notes. Just scribble down some notes as we go. At the end, we'll be choosing some actions. In all of our workshops, we want to make it actionable so it makes a difference for you. So please, please take some notes. Take as many notes as you can. It'll help you stay focused. And at the end, we'll be choosing some simple actions that'll make a big difference for you. Today, we're looking at external distractions, the things coming from outside of us, and internal distractions, because they both matter. They both happen. They both have a big impact. So when we think about external things, it's the people, it's the Teams chats, it's the notifications, all those things. The internal things are the thoughts, the desire to switch tasks. So just reflecting on that's interesting to think, okay, sometimes it's external, sometimes it's internal. It's probably about 50-50. I was doing some research recently and it's probably about 50-50. What's coming from external, what's coming from internal. So we often want to blame the external, but it's good to have that awareness that it's often internal as well. So we focus on managing attention, not time. We can't control time. Time is ticking. So let's shift our thinking here that it's about managing our focus. If we can get really focused, we can get so much more out of our time, so much more out of our energy. So we want to protect this attention as much as we possibly can. Our attention is so fragile. Our attention is so easily stolen away from what we want to be putting our attention on. So that's a key point for the moment. It's just to think about throughout today, even how can you really focus on protecting this attention as much as possible? And we're going to talk about lots of tactics and skills for this. I'm just looking at the chat now. Too many little things. Having three screens can be a blessing and a curse. Okay, beautiful. So there's two modes we can be in at work. There's two modes we often need to be in, team mode and solo mode. This comes from our workshop called the Productivity Ninja's Guide to Hybrid Working, where even when we're working hybrid, sometimes we need to be in team mode and collaborating. Sometimes we need to be in solo mode and focusing. It's good to just have this awareness during our day and think, what parts of the day can I be in different modes? Because if we're trying to be in solo mode, yet we're still keeping our eye on our team's notifications and our emails, we're letting ourselves get distracted. It's about being fully present, fully aware which mode we're in at which time. Team mode, we're working together. This can be in person or hybrid. We're collaborating, we're sharing, we're answering questions, we're working with each other. Solo mode, focus time. It's time to block out as many distractions as we can. So what does good productivity even look like? Some people think good productivity looks like I'm busy, busy, busy. I'm looking busy. I'm answering emails and Teams messages instantly. Well, maybe that's not good productivity. Maybe that's connectivity. Does good productivity look like I'm on an island? I'm a polar bear on an iceberg here. Maybe sometimes. Maybe when we need time to think. Maybe when we need time to let those ideas bubble up to the surface. Maybe that's good productivity. So often this is about having conversations with our team and our manager around different modes that we might like to be in during the day. Often there's too much pressure that we place on ourselves to be responding quickly to things. So we'll talk later in the session today about having a communication manifesto or a communication guide in terms of some agreements around what is expected. Often we're burning ourselves out with expectations that are too high, too demanding. So for the content today, we're looking at a couple of our 9 ninjas. Those of you that have done our ninja training obviously know these 9 ninja characteristics. Today, we're going to focus on stealth and camouflage because this relates very much to getting in the zone. And there's an element of human, not superhero, that will come through all of this. A lot of this is about being human, not superhero. Now, before we move on, I just want to launch a poll here. How often do you feel you get distracted? Please make a choice there. And I'll read out the answers for the recording because you won't see this on the recording. Okay, great. We've got lots of you responding already, 60 responses already. Thank you, everyone, for playing along with this. All right. I'll wait till we just get over 100 people because that's a good sample size. Um, Need just a few more people to respond there. There we go. Lovely. So here are the results for you. So most of us are definitely less than 20 minutes, some every 5 minutes. And then you can see an even split there between sort of 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 20. This is showing us that we are getting distracted a lot. So there's research I've seen in the past that shows we're distracted about every 2 to 3 minutes in an open plan workplace. So you're all doing quite well when we compare ourselves to that research. But we can see here we are getting distracted very often. Now, what happens when we get distracted? It takes a good chunk of time, 10 to 15 minutes, to get back into a state of focus or a state of flow. So with that 10 to 15-minute time frame of getting back into focus, we're often spending a lot of our time not in that space of full concentration. So let's have a look at stealth and camouflage. This is about different methods for hiding, different methods for getting focus. It might be physical. We're going to start by looking at physical. If we're in the office, sometimes we need to physically hide. I love this image. It's just like, get away from me, everyone. Sometimes we need to physically hide. This might look like going and hiding in a meeting room, going to the cafe downstairs, whatever we need to do to find some space. Now, once again, to make this a stress-free experience, we need to communicate with our team what we're doing. So we're hiding, but we don't need to hide the fact that we're hiding, if that makes sense. Do it proudly. Say, I'm going to do some deep work. I've blocked out some time in my calendar to focus on this project. Let the team know what's going on. Sometimes you might want to hide completely if the team are really annoying you, but see if you can find an opportunity to get away from everyone. Now, there's physical stealth needed also when we're working from home, because there can be distractions at home. So how can we do this at home? You know, having an office might be better than working at the dining room table that we can see here. Different ways to try and get some focus time at home. So I'd love to draw on the brains trust we've got here today again. In the office, what are your tactics? Please pop this in the chat. What are your tactics for finding some physical stealth and camouflage? Putting on a headset, wearing headphones. Yeah, headphones with nothing playing. Headphones. Wow, lots of people using headphones. Earbuds, shut the office door, block out the calendar, turn off emails. Nice one. Turn off those emails. Book a room for solo work. Escape to a booth. Yeah, so many great ideas here. So feel free to borrow and steal any of these ideas. Turn off notifications. Yeah, it's an example of digital stealth there, which we'll talk about shortly. Lucky enough to work from home, headphones. Found a storeroom for when the meeting rooms are full. Yeah, go into the storeroom. Nice. Now, what about tactics for working at home? If you're working at home and there's people, we're talking about physical distraction here. Physical stealth and camouflage. If you're working from home and there's people, I won't repeat that one, Nicole. Shut the door, lock the cat out. I've got a dog snoring with me here, but ignore the pings, close the office door, have a separate room. Tell the kiddos that mummy's working. Go and ask daddy. I love that. Yeah, get some help. Yeah, we might need some clear guidelines with the kids. Sit in the car in the garage when things are desperate. If you need a private space for a phone call or something. Yeah, nice. Good ideas. Thank you for those ideas. So that's physical stealth and camouflage. Sometimes we need to physically go into a place where people can't find us, or where it makes it just a little bit harder for people to find us. Pretend I'm in a meeting. I love it. So now let's look at digital stealth. It's the digital distractions that are causing a lot. The notifications, the pop-ups, the emails, it's coming at us from so many angles. So we've looked at physical stealth, we're now looking at digital. The digital distraction is massive. So we want to be doing things like turning off our phones or putting them on Do Not Disturb, turning our Outlook offline. If you're using the classic desktop version of Outlook, you can turn it offline. It's under the Send Receive menu. If you're using the new version of Outlook or the web version, unfortunately, you can't do that. And then look at other tools and using a timer. This timer on the screen is Forest. Forest is just like a cute little app that we can use as a timer. I saw Heather's mentioned the Pomodoro technique there. We'll talk about that again later. But yeah, Forest is just this idea of using a timer, a countdown timer to keep us focused. You can also use focus time in Windows. All of these techniques is managing the digital environment around us. Managing notifications in Teams. Put yourself on Do Not Disturb in Teams. So just have a think about how to fine tune connectivity versus focus. We don't need to share this in the chat. This is more just a personal reflection. What might you need to do to balance connectivity versus focus? There might be some conversations that need to happen in your team, with your manager, with your family, about different ways to manage this and fine tune this. Often that conversation that needs to be had with the team or your manager or your people that report to you is really important about making this acceptable, making it okay that you're going to have some focus time. All right, there's a lot more content to come, so stay with me. Take a couple of deep breaths if I'm overwhelming you with too many words. Okay. So we're still in stealth and camouflage. We're now looking at social stealth. So we've looked at physical, digital, and social. Social's a bit like physical, but it's more about the fact that if we can't actually go and hide, what kind of agreements can we have with the people that we're working with to have a bit of social disconnection when we need to focus? The office is great for that social connection, but sometimes we just need disconnection. How can we create that attention bubble? Many of you mentioned headphones. It's a great way to do it. Some people put up a little flag or a sign or a ninja motif. One team I worked with had a big frog statue that they'd got at Bunnings and they painted it gold and they call it the golden frog. So if someone puts the golden frog on their desk, it's like, leave them alone. They're focusing, they're eating their frog at the moment. Many of you have heard me talk about eating frogs. So this is this way to get social connection. It's about social disconnection or social stealth. It's about having agreements where we can switch off, manage those expectations, change your team's status, or have an out of office that says what's going on. I'll just look at some comments in the chat here. Thank you. I can see the chat going past. Sometimes it's hard, but saying to colleagues, I really need to finish something. Let's talk later. Yeah, sometimes just that clarity. It might feel a bit uncomfortable, but instead of always just having to do it in the moment, have some conversations about this when the team's together in a calm state and set some agreements. Set an agreement that it's okay to say, hey, can you come back to me? I'm my own worst enemy. People will ping me on Teams, thanks, Sarah, with questions, despite showing I'm in a meeting. I'll reply when I should ignore them. Yeah. Set the focus time. Be kind to yourself when you do get distracted, though. Thanks, Sandra. Yeah, bringing some kindness into this. This is the human, not superhero. Let's know that it's human. So, with the team, I've talked about this earlier, the idea of having a communications manifesto. So, we run a whole workshop called Supercharge Your Team Comms, where with a team, we create a manifesto. You can do this with your team. We could run the workshop for you, or you can just do it in a team meeting. Come up with some agreements on how you're going to communicate. Which channels are you going to use? What are the expectations? What are your agreements about working hours and flexibility? What are your agreements around stealth and camouflage? What are your agreements around how are you going to communicate when you need this focus time? So just setting some really clear agreements on this takes away all the pressure, takes away all the discomfort, takes away all that feeling of, oh, am I being nasty? Am I being mean by saying, can you come back to me? No. And then there's the internal distractions to focus on. We focused a lot on the externals, but there's the internal. About 50% of our distractions are internal. That's when our brain says, oh, I should go and do that other thing. Or, oh, I'm getting bored now. I'll go and do this other thing. Oh, I'm not going to send this email yet because I'm worried about the outcome. So I'll just leave that email there. I'll go and do something else. Our brain is so powerful at distracting us. And therefore, our brain is so powerful at getting us in the zone if we work with it, if we choose. So in Graham's Productivity Ninja book, he talks about three different levels of attention. These are three different levels of focus that we have during the course of a day. Proactive, active, inactive, like different circadian rhythms, if you like. To simplify this, I like to focus on green light time, which is the proactive attention, green light. Now, this might be a couple of hours for you in the morning. You might have a second wind in the afternoon. I might just ask you all just to pop in the chat. When is your green light time? When do you feel you've got like the 2 or 3 hours of best focus? And what we'll see here, if you follow the chat, is for most people, it's in the morning, but not for everyone. So it's good to know in your team when different people have their green light time or their focus time. This is the time we want to use to get most of our work done. Focus, stealth and camouflage, get as much attention management happening there as you can. So protect this green light time. Set a timer, the Pomodoro technique. Set that timer, let the team know, have some kind of signal that you're in your focus time and I'm getting into it now. You will get so much work done if you use this green time to your best efforts. And remember the multitasking. Multitasking is not helpful. Multitasking is going to chew up time, energy, and you're going to make more mistakes. So there's a lot to think about here already. Protecting that attention, that proactive time, the green light time, setting a focus app on the phone or do not disturb or focus time on the computer, having a power hour either on your own or with your team. Really powerful if you do a power hour together. And the Pomodoro technique, setting that timer. You can just use the countdown timer on the phone. But all of this gets us focused. Now, I was really struggling just a couple of mornings ago with my focus. So I used another technique, which was journaling. I put everything aside and I just went, I'm just going to do some journaling here and think about why am I not focused? What feelings are coming up for me? What should I do to help myself? And it took 5 or 10 minutes to go, okay, Matt, with some kindness, not feeling in the zone today. Let's just do a 25-minute gentle work block and then come back and see how I feel after that. I did the 25-minute gentle work block. And after that, I was actually feeling a little bit better. So then I could get back into it. Whereas I felt like I was really like trying to walk through mud leading up to that stage. And then sometimes it's about just getting that momentum, getting started. So some thinking time now. These are only short sessions. So some thinking time. I would love you to leave the session today with some clear actions for yourself. So I just want to give you a minute to think. I will stop talking for the next 60 seconds. What are your actions from this? What are you going to change? Go. All right, just another 20 seconds. Have some clear things for yourself that you're going to do today that's going to make a difference. There's some great comments in the chat. I won't read them all out, but thank you for all those comments. Some people mentioning catching the train helps with focus. Maybe you might need to go and catch a train somewhere to a round trip, even if you don't need to catch the train. Um, People commenting, thank you about green light time. Some comments here about ADHD support. Have a notepad called the parking lot. When those ideas come up, jot them down. Yeah, don't lose the thoughts that come through the brain. So many great comments in the chat. Thank you. So we've only scratched the surface. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to do a giveaway at the end, as I usually do, but we've only scratched the surface on this content today. But I hope that's enough to be super valuable. We always want these sessions to be motivating and valuable. If there's any feedback you have on the session, let me know. The content from today came from a combination probably of three different workshops that we run: the Way of the Productivity Ninja, our 90-minute, 2-hour session, the Productivity Ninja's Guide to Hybrid Working, where we focus on hybrid teams, hybrid working, and How to Be a Productivity Ninja, our 6-hour longer session. So the combination from all of those workshops. So if you want to run any of those with your team, get in touch. Please, you're welcome, welcome, welcome to get in touch. More free webinars coming up. You can always find them on the website. So you can find them there under free resources. Please jump in, register for those, join us for those. We've also got some public workshops coming up. Today, the Way of the Productivity Ninja starts in half an hour. 6 weeks to Ninja starts tomorrow. And getting your inbox to zero, we've got a public workshop for that in August. Today's giveaway is going to be about that, so stay on the line. If you'd like to join either that session today or the 6 weeks to Ninja starting tomorrow, please give me an email. Send me an email. Here's the email address, and I can get you in there even at the last minute. So did that go into the chat? Just send me an email to hello@thinkproductive.com.au. If there's any questions, please let me know. Please get in touch. Happy to help. We are here to help. As I mentioned at the start, we are here to help you love your work. So please get in touch if you have questions. Here are all my contact details. You're welcome to connect on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for joining. I'm going to stop the recording and do our giveaway.